We continue our live team coverage now. A deputy dies in the line of duty.
Late this afternoon, we started to hear urgent cries for help over the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office police scanner. We believe what started as a traffic stop, or we just confirmed what started as a traffic stop at that Chevron gas station near Sunseeker in Charlotte Harbor, turned into a deadly shooting. This evening, we do have confirmation from the sheriff's office. Now, he did also make this post on Facebook. You can see the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, with the help of surrounding agencies, is currently working 2 active scenes at this time. We also know the sheriff did post a sign showing a badge with a black band around it. And we also told you Sheriff Bill Promell was personally bringing the family of that deputy to the hospital. And that's where we find Wink News reporter Olivia Jean standing by. Olivia, what's the latest?
Annette and Taylor, the scene has just cleared up, but for hours I watched as law enforcement filed into the hospital paying their respects, and I watched some of them leave those hospital doors right behind me with tears streaming down their face. Obviously very emotional tonight as the unthinkable has happened to one of their own. And then about 30 minutes ago, they all kind of filed up in a line leaving the hospital. It was unlike something I have ever seen. I want you to take a look at video from that moment. You'll see a long line filed of law enforcement leaving the hospital. I mean, it was at least 50 cars I saw, obviously Charlotte County deputies, but also Northport Police and Sarasota County deputies, a large law enforcement presence here tonight. Now, Sheriff Promell personally escorted the family out of the hospital tonight around 11 o'clock. They all rode in Charlotte County deputies' vehicles. He did say in his press conference that the deputy was a good man and loved his children. It's obviously tonight is a very sad time for the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. I'm live at the hospital. Olivia Jean, Wink News.
Amelia Lane. According to the Sheriff's Department, investigators were called to a home over a couple arguing. When investigators arrived, they say 34-year-old Javier Aguilar intentionally hit the responding deputy's patrol car with his own car while trying to flee the scene. Investigators say Aguilar then got out of the car and approached the deputy in a threatening manner, which is when the deputy shot at Aguilar. Now, Aguilar was taken to the hospital. He later died from his injuries. The officer was also taken to the hospital, but has since been released.
Tonight, a man is dead after deputies say they were forced to shoot him near the Tri-Rail station in Fort Lauderdale. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I'm Alina Machado. NBC6's Nico Clemens is live now. And Nico, do we know what led up to the shooting?
So investigators didn't say where specifically, Alina, but they say before the shooting, they were investigating a domestic call at a home. Deputies and the man who's now dead ended up right here, just right next to the train station. But Alina, it's the second shooting involving law enforcement in this area this week. And people who live in the community are concerned.
We asked him what happened. He said he couldn't tell us, just know that we're safe.
Deputies say they had no choice. Broward Sheriff's Office deputies say they were forced to shoot a man near the Tri-Rail station in Fort Lauderdale Saturday. BSO says they got a call about a domestic issue at a home. They also had information someone at the home had a gun. Investigators say when deputies showed up, a man with a gun already drove off. BSO says their deputies caught up with the man and chased him to Southwest 1st Street and 21st Terrace near the train station. Investigators say at some point during the confrontation, deputies shot and killed the man. Deputies say they found a gun at the intersection.
The circumstances of the specific encounter are under investigation.
People who live near the train station are reminded of another deadly shooting that happened a few days earlier, less than a mile away. That one involved Fort Lauderdale police.
It's scary. It's scary because we literally just had a shooting happen on the other side of our neighborhood.
Fort Lauderdale police says 21-year-old Jalen Moore came out of his home holding a family member hostage at gunpoint. An officer shot him Wednesday. Police say he was having a mental health crisis.
Again, directly behind my house.
Chantel McCollin lives between where both shootings happened. The most recent was a few yards from her home. She, like many of her neighbors, is feeling uneasy.
I'm a single mom and I have girls. It's crazy that this is happening.
Several deputies shot the man and they are now on administrative assignment. During this investigation, investigators have not released the name of the man who was killed. or any more information about that domestic call from earlier in the day. All things we hope to learn a little bit more about tomorrow. In Fort Lauderdale, Nico Clements, NBC6.
In Abilene once again tonight, Abilene police conducting a search of a building in South Abilene, and we're just hearing from our crews on the scene there that they know that some tear gas, some type of tear gas, has been launched into a building at that location, and that apparently shots have been heard coming from inside the house.
Yes, absolutely. And we're also hearing that assistance is coming, more law enforcement. The Lubbock SWAT team en route now to assist in this search of a potential suspect. KTAB's Noah McKinney. He's actually been keeping an eye on this scene tonight, so Noah can tell us more.
Yes, thank you. I've been out here since about 7, just kind of watching the scene, and while it hasn't been particularly active, there have been a few things happening, and it is certainly a very crowded scene. Multiple units responding and more coming as the hours have passed. I am at South 6th and Pecan Street right now, but really this whole area, at least 2 blocks, if not further beyond that, are blocked off right now as APD is conducting the search. And you may be able to see behind me the mobile command unit just behind one of the Abilene Fire Department cars right there. Now, we haven't heard any official word yet as to what this search is relating to. Of course, we do know that since Tuesday, APD has been conducting a search for James Wesley Key, who is the suspect in an officer-involved shooting that happened on Tuesday. And we also know that this area, right over here, some of these homes, one of them is known to be his last known residence. So could be very likely that they're searching for him right now. Again, no official word just yet, but earlier I've heard at least 3, maybe 4 rounds of 3 pops consecutively. Now, they did not sound to be gunshots. It sounded to me more like whenever you hear something being deployed, such as gas, but we don't know exactly what that might be. Now, we're going to be out here a little bit longer just to see what exactly is happening, and as soon as we get that official word, we will get it back to y'all. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Noah. Again, Abilene Police released a new picture of the suspect accused of shooting Abilene police officer Tuesday night. The new surveillance picture showing 49-year-old James Wesley Key inside a North Abilene convenience store. This was just a few hours before the Tuesday night shooting in the Impact area of Abilene. Key now facing charges of aggravated assault on a peace officer. He fled from police who have now been searching 48 hours. He is considered armed and dangerous. And actually now an anonymous donor has also posted a $5,000 reward for any information that helps police to find and arrest James Key. You can provide your information anonymously on the Crime Stoppers hotline and be eligible for the reward. The wounded Abilene officer was also treated and released, and we're hearing an update right now from our production booth. They are currently searching for Key tonight in the central Abilene area of Locust and South 7th Street. Heavy police presence again blocking off that area. Lubbock SWAT team en route now to assist the Abilene Police Department along with any other law enforcement official agencies joining in this search, and it is James Key that they are searching for tonight. We'll bring you the latest as we hear more.
We're getting an update now on that officer-involved shooting. Let's listen in.
Our officers followed the suspect as he went across onto Lamplighter Lane and then exited his vehicle. The suspect ran eastbound on Lamplighter Lane. Our officers also exited their vehicle, and at which time the suspect began firing at our officers and struck one in the leg. Our officers returned fire, fatally wounding the suspect. EV CERT will be investigating this officer-involved shooting. Our officer was taken to the hospital, and he is receiving treatment for his injuries, which are non-life-threatening. We are grateful that our officer is doing well and that his injuries were not more severe. We do have time for some questions. It was for drug sales.
When did the suspect fire upon the officer? Was it well into the foot chase? Was he taking cover at all?
It was immediately after the officers exited their vehicle.
You guys have had a lot of prior contact with this suspect?
I'm not sure of the prior contact that we have had with that suspect.
The suspect with anyone else or just by himself?
The suspect was the only person in that vehicle.
Was there any...
car at the time?
At which time?
The suspect was in the car when they tried to stop him?
Correct. have his exact years of service, we will provide that later in our press release.
Can you tell us anything recovered from the suspect? What recovered?
That's all still part of our investigation right now. Yes, the East Valley Critical Incident Response Team will be investigating the officer-involved shooting.
Was there any indications from the previous encounters with this individual?
Well, they were here from Tempe Police recapping that situation, and Nicole Christine was telling us about that breaking news in Tempe. We have confirmed that the officer was shot in this, but is at the hospital right now receiving treatment and is expected to be okay.
Yeah,
non-life-threatening injuries.
Yeah, shot in the leg, and then once that happened, then police shot at the suspect, killing the suspect. But yeah, good news that the police officer is okay.
And again, it's all started apparently after a drug sales situation that the police were investigating, and the suspect took off on foot and then apparently opened fire on the officer. So that is the situation there in Tempe. That is going to be a crime scene, by the way, there at Rural and Baseline for at least the next several hours, probably through the morning. So it's best to avoid that area if you can tonight.
Looking at that home at the center of this investigation, we know in the past 10 minutes, police have now identified the man that was found inside of that home after a SWAT situation now over in Tamarac. We'll get to video right now. Chopper 4 is over this scene as the sun is coming up. You are looking at that home at the center of this investigation. We know in the past 10 minutes, police have now identified the man that was found inside of that home after this hours-long barricade, Chadwyck Reid. We understand at this point it sounds like he may have shot himself dead there inside of that home. This is unfolding right now in a neighborhood there in Tamarac, just west of the Turnpike.
In the name of a man killed during a standoff with Rainbow City Police. Officers first responded to a domestic incident just before noon yesterday. That turned into a hostage situation, then a standoff. The coroner's office reports that Jamen Elkins died after being shot near Williams Avenue. Police say that a person fired shots at officers. At some point, police fired shots. None of the officers were hurt. It's not clear yet who shot Elkins.